Okay. Back to live video. Long time. So this is just a warm up, and we will try to make more video like this in the future. But yeah, this one is warming time. We're gonna have some fun time together. We're gonna polish a knife on the stone, like in the old days, and yeah, and we'll have fun together. So yeah, I was waiting a little bit for some few people to come. So yeah, I'm back in live. That's maybe 1 year, 1.5 years. I could not make a live video on Instagram. Instagram had restrict live video for my account. But now it's back and I want to come back to it. I want to come back to some live video showing you how I stone polish the knives. And so it's also some nice times together to discuss about knives, about my work, about stones, sharpening, steel, any topic around that. And yes, we're gonna have some time together. Okay, it's about 4 o'clock French time, 4 p.m. and I will stop the live at 10 to 6 p.m., something like that. Okay, and so we have about 2 hours and we're gonna work that blade. All right, so today is 235 millimeter long Giotto. It's not bad. It's 57, 58 large, and it got a nice taper, which is about 6 to less than 1 millimeter, something like that. The blade was worked first with the belt. It's my process is so it's forging the blade sanmai, preparing the blade profile. Then I would cold forge. I would straighten the blade. I would quench. Then with the quench, I would get that nice black finish, which is called kurushi in Japanese. And I'm gonna straighten the blade then, and I will then first grind the blade. First grind is done on a big. It's a big 800 centimeter. Not at all. 800 millimeter. Yeah, that's all. 80 centimeter diameter wheel with water cooling system, and this will make the nice first grind. A big wheel with a convex shape then with a 36 grit is very useful to make the first grind, because as it's convex it will touch the blade and grind quite strongly on one point, and so you can have a grind which is quite sharp and won't go through and scratch the kurushi. The only issue with that is that because it's convex, and because it's not like, it's not flat at all, it's just convex and a little bit convex also width wise. The big wheel where you grind the knives on at the first grind on is very free. So it's only the eyes, only the habit that make a grind even. And in a way, you will never get a perfect grind with those machine, because it's a convex point. So any gesture and you will overgrind any area. So the goal of that first grind on this big machine is much more about just giving a first angle, a first bevel on the blade, and shape the shinogi and mark the shinogi. So then when you go back to a flatter surface to grind, you will have some guide about the angles, and you will have something that will just give you a first place to set. because in a way, when you start a blade, it's about 1 millimeter thick at the edge. And so, yeah, there is no guidance. There is no area that is guiding you to say, okay, I'm gonna set like this with this angle. So you need to start somewhere. And the big wheel is made for that. And then I have grind the blade with a flat platen belt, which is a quite wide belt, 100 millimeter, and 80 grit. And I'm flattening the bevels because the big wheel is so giving a first grind, giving a first angle, but it's not even at all. And this is better. This is working a little bit better. So I'm gonna try to show you that. Is it possible for the camera to do any work possible? Okay, not yet, but yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to show you like that. Maybe I can point on my figure. No, okay. I will try to make more live video, and forgive me if I'm not completely on point, very at ease, because it's 1.5 years I didn't make any video like that, maybe, but I will get it on it. And maybe I will use YouTube one day. I'm thinking of a streaming setup, but yeah, slowly, nice and slow. Okay, so the idea is just to show you 80 grit belt machine finish, okay? And from there, it's the base. I will work with the stones. And this base is not bad, but it's not crazy. It's not very good. There is some issues, and we gonna deal with these issues. Most of the issues are, for example, at the edge, at the very edge of the blade, it's not really clear, it's not really neat and even. Sometimes I have overgrind just a little bit, and so I will have like something a little bit thicker here and then a little bit thinner here, and this is not good because when you will sharpen the blade, you will have a little hollow here. Not something you can really notice at first, but it's there, and it's something you need to clean and solve. And for example, Shinogi is quite all right this side, but this side, maybe I can show you that. Shinogi is not perfect around here. So all this little wobbling, it's issue about, or something I'm grinding a little bit too much, or it's something about straightening, which is not easy because the blade is about 1 millimeter thick at the end, and so any little distortion in the flatness of my brut de forge, which is the raw hammered surface. This is black and looks clean, but it's only hammer surface. There is no grinding. So as it's only from hammer, there is hammering marks actually. They are clean, but they are still there. And so they will make the Shinogi a little bit moving. And yeah, sometimes it's make straightening not that easy. Also, we can see that bevel had wanted to go up a little bit here, whereas it didn't there. This is something we will need to check if, yes, the blade got some more material here, and we need to follow that. We need to, follow how the bevel has to be shaped. But maybe it's an overgrind. And so if it's an overgrind, we need to solve that, making all the Shinogi a little bit up so it will make a nice line. Okay, I got everything there. And maybe you can see that, okay, just right here. These are just the scratches actually from the big wheel, from the 800 millimeter wheel. Yes, 800. Okay, so we're gonna stop. And we're gonna work. I'm gonna put you a little bit further away. Okay. Let me find somewhere it's okay. Okay, sorry. It moved, but we find. Okay, So you can see me, you can see the stone, and we should be okay. I can go a little bit up, I think. Okay. And to start the grind, we're gonna use the 200 grit diamond stone from NSK. And hey, Streetforge say thank you for sharing, and my pleasure. You're welcome. I didn't make a clear introduction because it's always difficult with the live video, because at the beginning you are just on your own alone on the streaming, and then there is some people coming. So we are now 10 people, and yes, just wanted to say that I'm back streaming live video about sharpening, about stone polishing work. I've missed that quite a lot because Instagram, they restricted my live video option, so I could not make any for 1 year. And so yeah, I'm back at it. I want to do a little bit of that from time to time. Instagram is a very nice common way to do it because I got some followers, so so then there is some people seeing the live and asking some question, and there is some interaction, so that's what I want. But maybe I will go to YouTube. I tried once, I was not really happy with it, but maybe it's because I did it with the phone, and maybe it's better to have a streaming setup or something like that. I don't know much about all that, but I will look into it if I enjoy doing the streaming and doing them more and more. But we're gonna start on Instagram, and we're gonna have some nice chilly time together, just sharpening some knives, answering some question, and yeah. And at a bit before 6 p.m, so it's 4:17 now, and at 6 p.m. I will stop the live and I will go doing something else. Okay, and I got some nice comments, which is, wow, you pay attention to so many little details to make it perfect. Thanks for sharing. Thank you very much for this comment. It's so important to take care of those details. For my work, for the way I see my knives, because the work I'm doing on the blade, even more simple ones, which is not that simple, but we can call it simple, which is Sanmai raw iron 135 raw iron Sanmai. I want them to be in a certain way, and all these little details I have talked about on the bevel, and I can talk about the taper and the forging and things like that. They are about my idea I have in mind of this object, and the closer I reach this object, the more I'm happy to make one and another one and another one. And it's also giving you generally some nice happiness and joy from my customers who are using them, because they see all those details are checked, and so all those details are important to me, and I think for the final user. Okay, let's wash a little bit this blade because it was oiled before. If you want to clean oil from a knife, just use soap. It's just perfect to clean the oil. So you take a little tissue and some soap, and you will be good to go. Okay. And now we're gonna start with the 200 from NSK. I'm just checking because I got 2 stones from NSK 200 grit, and they are not all flat, all nice flat both, but this one is nice. So the idea is to take this white area, which is the bevel, okay, and to make it, most importantly for me, even, and thin and thick where it needs to be, okay, with the good geometry and good shape I want. Yes, I have started to do it with the sand belt, but with the stone, I got so much more control. It's gonna be much slower, but I will have much more control to make everything where I want. Something we can start is just making the edge area, so the area the closest to the edge, to make it nice, even and thin. And to do that, you just take your 200 grit and you put your knife on the stone, you raise a little bit so the edge is touching, and you sharpen the blade like if you would sharpen the blade like normal sharpening, but you are just using a lower angle, so the edge is touching, but a little bit above the edge is touching too. So yeah, back it is. So yeah, so those live videos, they are meant to show you how I work. They are also meant to give you some maybe desire to do some stonework yourself, because it's a very, very fun little hobby. It's my work, but some people do that as a hobby. And third things is about talking with you directly. So yeah, if you have any question about my work, about my knives, about anything, well, not anything, but most things, well, we can talk about it and have some nice talk together. So I can feel blade is sliding on the 200 grit stone, mostly because I'm working on the edge, and the edge is very hard because it's 135, so it's 1.35 percent carbon, and it's quenched with water, and it's not much tempering, so it's, yeah, it's very hard still. What I can see quickly is that my edge is not properly touching here. It's touching, but it should be very low, middle, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, and a little bit higher. And this is low, okay, higher, higher, and going low. This is not good. So we're gonna work that shapes until, so we're gonna grind a little bit around here until it touch properly and nicely here at the heel. That's important. And the blade is sliding because it's hard steel on the stone, but still it's grinding. It's not doing nothing because it's diamond stone, so diamond, it's cutting that steel anyway. Okay. And if I feel, for example, the stone is a little bit weak to grind the knife because it's hard steel on a hard stone, and hard on hard surface will slide together, I can make the stone behave a little bit softer, just working a little bit of the iron, so a little bit higher on the bevel where there is iron on the sides. The diamond stone will behave much softer, much more powerful because it's meeting soft material. Okay, then I get some little mud, not much, but I got some little mud just because the stone behaved much faster. And so I can go back to the hard steel and work with that mud. It needs not to be too much. If you have too much mud, you will have not a clean, how I would say that. Clean cut. You won't have a clean cut on the hard steel because if it's too much mud, you will just have a big muddy touching everywhere. But you need a little bit, so the hard steel is cutting. It's cut properly and rapidly by the stone. Yeah, sorry, my English is a little bit rusted because I didn't speak with you directly since a year, and so yeah, I forget to speak English. I write English, but speaking English, not that much. Okay, I think the hard steel is where I want it to be. I'm gonna work a little bit the tip. And yes, it looks okay. So I hopefully want to show you where I am, but of course it's not easy. It's never been easy. I want to find a way to make some close-up video while I'm doing the streaming, but honestly it's really not easy. Like why the blade, why the camera is not focusing, I don't know. I'm gonna try something. Okay, I'm gonna reverse. Okay, so I can show you properly. Yes or not? It's a little bit better. Okay, so I worked this a little bit more diagonally. We're gonna try to find an angle where it's very obvious. Okay, yes. So all these longitudinal scratches, they are what I've just done with the 200 grit. And as you can see, so it's touching an area which is a little bit above the edge, okay? And here at the heel, it's better, not maybe perfect, but better. It's just for now, it's just a first tour, and we're gonna do a second one after we have worked all the blade. Okay, normally you've seen much better. Sorry, okay. We are back. Yes, okay. Sorry, I need to find a way. Maybe I need a full team with like 3-4 people to make those videos. But yeah, I need to plan all that. Okay, so we have the edge not too bad, and we're gonna work above on the bevel. So now I'm not moving the blade a little bit up to touch the edge. I'm just putting the bevel, yeah, dead flat on the stone, and I'm gonna work just nicely without pushing too hard, just making a nice abrasion on all the bevel, and see how the stone give me information about where the blade touch and where the blade is not touching. Yeah, because the stone is flat, so it's not maybe dead flat, but it's flat enough to give me a nice reference, so I can work with it and having information from it, the way it touched the blade. So a little question, do you think it's beneficial to use a softer coarse or medium stone when setting the bevel up, or just hard stone until your finisher? I think it's really dependent to how you work, how you like stones. Sorry, it's a preference. It depends if it's Sanmai or if it's Onyaki. And I would say as a first advice, as a first answer, that it's better to use, I think, very hard stone at the beginning, if possible, as hard as possible, but still grinding. So if you reach a very hard stone and it's just doing nothing because it's so hard that it's not grinding your blade, well, then you need a little softer than that. Okay, so yeah, you start with a very hard stone, very flat, so it's giving a lot of reference to the blade, and it's giving a lot of clear, even, flat surface, so you can shape properly and the way you want. Okay, and I would say for myself, from about 1K grit, I don't need a hard stone anymore, because from 1K I should normally only erase scratches and no more shape the blade. So from 1K I will use soft stones, on the blade, just because it's faster. The soft stones are always faster. Well, most of them. They are mostly faster than hard stone, but they are not as precise. So I will use the precision of the hard stone at the beginning, and from 1K using the soft, so it's going a little bit faster to erase those scratches. This video today is about setting the bevel the best we can to have everything even, everything touching, everything nicely touching the blade, and so you can use a stone and it will touch the blade everywhere the way you want, and the blade will have the shape you want, the convexity you want, and the flatness you want. And maybe in another video, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe Friday, if I'm in the mood for that, I will show you the finish of these blades. So maybe today we will go to 400 or let's say maybe 600 or 800 grit, I don't know. And on Friday we will go from 800 or 600 to possibly Japanese natural stones, so the final stones. Okay, so I've done the edge surface and it's okay. It's not perfect, like it's not touching the very end of this heel as much as I like, but mostly it's okay. So now I'm using the reference of the stone. I'm just putting the blade flat and it will grind just under the shinagi, okay? And I just want to see how the bevel is even, if there is like large low spots, or if I can work properly. Hello Munich. So no much pressure, no much direction in my fingers, just the blade flat on the stone. Just grinding, a little bit longitudinal, but not too much. Okay, okay. So it's giving information. I have grind a little bit too low on the bevel, or there is too much convexity on my bevel about, center of the blade. Okay. And I can see I have a higher spot here because, just to give you the information, because I guess you don't see from this angle, but the stone touch around here, full bevel, and then it's went all along, but not touching shinogi for 2 or 3 millimeter under the shinogi. And then at the end, it touched almost full bevel. So I got a high spot there, and I got too much convexity around, and maybe here I have a little bit of too much material. So I need to be careful not to raise shinogi too much, because as you can see, it's already raised, but I don't want to make aesthetically a bevel going just very up, and it will not look good. So I need to put an angle a little bit lower, a little bit strong at the heel, which is okay because that's what you want on the heel. And then I will find a way to go a little bit fast to a lower angle. Okay? Let's do that again and see what happens. Okay, so yes, I have about the same information as before, a little bit low around here at the shinogi. It's not touching perfectly. Hello, hello. But at the heel, it's not touching like super well either. So all good, I would say, all good. I need to raise, I need to work on that bevel, just grind flat, and so it will start touching shinogi, and from there I will see if there is some higher spot than others. But it seems that this area is just okay. This is maybe a little bit low, and the tip is a little bit high, something like that. Okay, so let's make something clean at the heel area, just so we have a nice clean reference. we're gonna work just piece by piece and solve issue, the main issue, and then the middle issue, and then the smallest issues, something like that. So my blade is put on the stone just on diagonal, and I'm not trying to to help the stone touch the blade in a certain way. I just let it just flat on the stone. Yeah, thank you, Carrotcom. My English is, let's say, middle. Not bad, but I wish to be a little bit more fluent, and maybe I need to work my accent. So there is still some French little thing in it, but it's not looking like too much accent, let's say. Okay, let's continue. Okay, it's looking much cleaner. Yeah, can I show you that? Okay, so that dark area is the clean one. And as soon as you see the light is touching the bevel evenly, it means the shape is even. I got something at the heel, not perfect, but the rest is okay. So let's following with the, a little bit further on the blade. Okay, so it seems that this little mountain high is a little bit overgrown. It's not like, it should not be as high as it is, but it's okay because this is a little bit low. So I'm gonna put that a little bit higher, and it will reach that correctly. Yeah, should be okay. So one question is, do you have advice for getting crisp shinogi? I have the feeling for me diamond stones like NSK 200, Naniwa 400, Roth, it's up. Maybe it's the slurry. Yeah, normally 200 NSK and 400, even more, 400 Naniwa diamond should be hard enough to not roll off your shinogi. Yeah, normally. This 200 with raw iron, it will make quite a lot of mud. So yeah, if there is too much, you can rinse it a little bit, and so the stone will behave a little bit harder. It will grind a little bit slower, but it will work better and more precise. And you can go like maybe a first grind, like if you were on the machine with a little bit too much mud, but then when you start to sharp your shinogi, make the line clear and nice, you need to work without too much mud and more water, okay? But anyway, the 200 is rough. It can be a diamond stone, it can be a cobalt stone, it can be an amazing abrasive. 200 grit is rough, and you will have always scratches that will touch shinogi and scratch a little bit above where it should, and it will always scratch and roll shinogi a little bit too much because it's 200 grit and it's just rough. But from 400 grit Naniwa, if you work correctly with not too much mud, you should be able to make the shinogi sharp with the Naniwa 400 and not having those little scratches around. But then also making a nice sharp shinogi is a question of technique and how you shape it. And this, we're gonna see that together. Thank you, Carrotcom. Yeah, not many French people got this fluent English language. Yes, it's true. In France, we are not that good in English. Well, at least my generation, but I hope the younger guys, they speak a little bit better. But yes, well, we are very proud of our language, so that's why we don't want to learn foreign language. And we had quite bad teachers. I had quite bad language teacher. Hopefully my family was friends with English. That's why I speak not too bad. Okay. Let's continue. I need to grind just before this little heel, just before. So about here. So again, I'm just putting the blade on the stone flat, and I just let the work to be done without giving any direction too much. Just a flat grind on the stone. Well, no problem, Couchcom. Here to make the work, to show my work, and also to discuss. It's just a nice moment together, and yeah, just sharing together. Okay, so as I want to raise a little bit shinogi around here, yes, I'm starting to give a little bit direction and not just grinding flat. The little direction are, I'm working a little bit less diagonal, but a little bit more perpendicular, and this is giving a little bit more strength to the stone, just only because it's touching a smaller area. And if it's touching a smaller area, it will just grind faster. And second, I'm starting to giving a little bit of pushing toward the shinogi, so it's touching shinogi. And for this, you need to go nicely and not too fast. If you go too fast, you will roll on it, and it will make a mess. So you need to just go slowly around shinogi, and with your ear and your feeling, you need to feel that you are actually touching it and starting to grind on it, because the metal is not giving the same sound and the same feeling as you grind white metal or when you grind shinogi and so kurushi. Okay, yeah, so for example, it's touching a little bit there, and where the shinogi looks the less good, it's generally where there is a distortion, where there is a problem. And most of the cases would be where there is maybe actually a low spot. Where there is a low spot, the stone was in contact, for example, with shinogi. It's meeting a little low spot, so it's no more, but with your finger you are pushing. So you force a little bit the blade to bend and to touch that lower area. And so you scratch it, but you scratch it not really correctly because it's just a bend. It's just not a direct contact, it's just a way you bend the stone, the blade adjusts slightly so it's touching the low spot. So it will scratch like in a messy way. You can see that because it's not clean. Its scratches are a little bit muddier. How you say that? When there is some fog, yeah, a little bit more foggy, okay? And yeah, and you can see them a little bit more, and this is because there is a low spot, and it's because you have actually put a little bit more pressure and you have forced the blade to touch somewhere it should not touch. And yeah, you can make quite bad scratches this way. Don't know if you can see, but look at this heel, okay? And you can see that there is some a little bit higher scratches, and I guess it's because there is some distortion around here, but it's okay, it's not too bad. It can be solved with the 400. Everything that can be solved with the next stone means it's no issue. All right, let's go, let's continue. So from here to about here, we are okay, and now we do the rest of the blade. All right. Okay, so I got some lower spots at the shinagi around here. It's not touching. If I force, I will make a mess. So I don't need to force, I need just to grind before and after. So as my shinagi is already, let's say high, I'm gonna grind around tip because I know there is too much material to grind, and it's a little bit lower, so perfect. I'm just, yeah, making my shinagi even while I'm solving issues. That's the way I try to work. And the 200 is, yeah, it's very strong, so I need to go light on my pressure and not too long strokes, as you can see. And the tip is very thin, less than 1 millimeter. And the bevel angle and the bevel angle and this area, they are very close together in angles. So if I'm just pushing a little bit too much on the shinagi, it will, yeah, it will overgrind and make a mess. Thank you, Dan. Well, thank you, Christian. It's damn Christian, but you're Christian. Thank you, Christian. Yes, live again. 1 year I didn't make a live, and very happy to be back at it. And I will try to, yeah, to make some live video from time to time, maybe 3 times a week. I don't know. No, more like once a month if I'm get used to it. But yeah. Anyway, I was missing a little bit these moments, so happy to be back at it. Okay, so what I'm looking is how the stone touch my bevel, and if it's grinding nicely, if it's touching shinagi, or if it's touching the edge. And for now, I can see that I can go a little bit flatter, flatter on the tip area, because my shinagi is not touched properly. It's, barely, you bear, so barely, it's barely touching. Wow, I need a teacher. Or I need to watch a little bit more English language movies. Okay, let's continue. And in that area, the tip area, you work without mud. You don't want mud. You want a stone that cut as clean as possible. And you don't want to also grind barely. Yeah, barely. Thank you. Yeah, I got a teacher on the live. Okay, what I wanted to say. Yes, I don't know what I wanted to say. Yeah, you want a clean stone, so it's working. And yes, you don't want to work too much longitudinal because the tip is going a little bit round. It's very easy to first start diagonal on the heel, but reaching the tip, if you don't rotate the blade and your arms, you will just finish making a longitudinal scratches on the tip. And longitudinal scratches on a bevel is not exactly the same as diagonal. Well, just to be explicit about that, in that situation, longitudinal, you can roll on the shinogi because you don't have the stability to stay on the bevel because you are longitudinal. Whereas if you work diagonal, you are going against shinogi, so you are not most likely to touch it or roll on it too easily. So it's more secure to work diagonal on the tip while you grind. So you need to rotate. Okay, so it's better. Let's go a little bit backward from the tip. Okay. I need to go slowly because I got a little bit wobbly. If I go too fast, I will increase wobbliness. If I go slow, I can maybe solve it. I can't solve it if it's completely there. If there is distortion in thickness, I can't do anything. But if it's a little bit, like just a slight distortion, and because of this slight distortion with the biggest coarse grit, I have overgrind around this area, so it's making worse than it is, then I can solve it. And how you go slow? Well, you don't go to shinogi too much, too rapidly. You go to there, but you let the stone touch this shinogi slowly, flattening the bevel. At the tip, anyway, you want something like a flat surface. Close to the tip, the surface is flatter than toward the heel. So you can work a little bit, just a little bit flatter. So you mean you let the stone, the flat stone, giving its shape to the bevel a little bit more than at the heel. And this will make reaching the shinogi in a cleaner way, in a cleaner way. Convex shape at shinogi, it's most likely too difficult for that sort of design of blade. So you want a flat surface just under the shinogi. You don't want convexity. So it's very easy because the stone is flat. You just want to apply the shape of the stone on your bevel. So you let it work. Okay, and it's nice. There is still wobbliness and still distortion around here, but I feel it's getting a little bit better. So, okay, that's good. And I hope not going too fast so I can clean it. I can avoid making it too much a mess by going a little bit more perpendicular than diagonal. Just so the stone is touching a smaller area surface, and so it will cut faster. If it cuts faster, it cuts cleaner. The faster you cut, the cleaner you cut. If you are too slow to cut, you will just wobbly, don't keep your shape and making a mess. If you cut, like if you take a knife and a sharp knife and you take a, I don't know, an apple and you make a cut, it will be a clean cut. If you take a very dull knife on a frozen apple, you will make a bad cut. Okay. Very good analogy. I guess you understood my point, yeah? Okay. I'm reaching the lower spot I had before, so I can start back a little bit back, just before that low spot at the shinogi I had. And I'm gonna go there, not putting pressure on it while I'm there, and then putting again pressure after it. So in a way, I'm never putting pressure on it, so if the stone touches, because it's touching. And I'm okay to put some pressure where it's already touching, because then there is no mistake to be done. Did you understand that? This point about making pressure, putting pressure where the stone already touched, and never put pressure where the stone is not touching already. Okay, we are almost there. We're gonna grind a little bit more at the tip. So I need to be focused, not to roll on the shinogi, just go slowly, nice and easy. Okay, I have to leave now. Thanks for answering my question. Awesome to see you live again. Hope I can watch the whole thing on YouTube later. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. I will put it on Instagram. They should be, yeah, they should save that automatically. And I will upload the video on YouTube. So it's easy to look for everyone now and in the future forever. Forever, we say, yeah, forever. Okay, goodbye. Okay, honestly, it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, so we can do a full bevel inspection. So keeping my stretches well in the same direction, so I can read the bevel very easily. Okay, and then I'm moving to see the light, Okay, I can see some scratches around the shinogi still there, so I need to finish the job. And everything else is not bad. I got some muddy area around here, so it seems that this little higher bevel is a little bit too much. It's overgrind, so I need to grind a little bit after, so it will raise shinogi and make this low in line. Okay, yeah. In the end, making a nice sharp shinogi, and if possible perfect shinogi in my mind, is one line which is at the same level for everywhere in the blade, which is, okay, shinogi is that line between the bevel and the black area. It's a little bit wobbly because it's forged, so it's a clean surface or an even surface meeting a not even surface, which is hammered. And so that's why it's a little bit moving. But in a way, when it's all well shaped, I can see that it's all good because it's touching on, let's say, at the same height. Yes, that's the way you say it. It's touching at the same height the whole blade. So there is nothing lower or higher. It's just at the same height. So even the finest stone will touch this area nicely. Yeah, thanks. It's yeah, it's a little attic actually. It's a very small house, which is outside my house where I'm living. It's 20 square meters, so it's quite small. And there is a room downstairs which is made for the handles. So there is wood machine, woodworking machine. And upstairs there is the roof. It's isolated. It's not clean like a house, but it's attic style, and but it's still isolated, so I can even warm the place and being nice even in winter. So very nice place. And I saw another thing, for sure à la Macron. Tu dépasses de loin son niveau. Yes, for sure. I didn't listen to it, but I have heard everybody say the for sure. That is now a classic. Okay, let's continue. Maybe it's good time to make a turn for the stone, just so it's wearing a little bit evenly. Okay. So I'm just putting a little bit more pressure at the heel. First, because I got some material, so I know I can grind without missing material at the end. And second, because I'm touching very well there, so I feel confident to put more pressure. And so I can finally reach this area, which is, let's say, 5 millimeters from the heel, is not touching very cleanly, so I need to grind just after it. Hey Andre, I'm working with the NSK 200 grit. It's honestly a very good stone to make a first job on the blade, because it's fast, it's cutting good. Hard steel, well, not well, could be a little bit better, but yeah, on hard steel it slide a bit, but on iron it's cutting very fast and it's getting clean, and yeah, it's working properly. It's doing the job of a 200 grit properly. Yeah, I will need another one to make the shape of the bevel perfect, but this stone is a good start. So 200 NSK, and it's Oboro. And I think I prefer it from Oboro, and I prefer it from Hakuto, which was nicer on the hard steel, but because it was softer. So on the iron, it's a little bit soft. It's still cutting very, very well, but it's wearing faster. So Oboro, I would say, is the way to go, so it's not wearing too fast. Yeah. Those stones are, yeah, they are a little bit less expensive now, I think, because I used to pay that 280 euros, and now I think it's 210 or something like that. I didn't bought it since the new prices, but I think it's a little bit lower now. Okay. Hello, Edward. That one is 135 CR3 main steel. Honestly, I'm fully in love with that steel. The way it works with my work is perfect. I mean, I didn't find another steel that works as good with the way I'm forging, grinding, polishing. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working on that as much as possible. But it's now discontinued. I think it stopped producing. It was still producing even maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and it stopped. I got a stock, but one day it will be finished. Yeah. I have worked a little bit Apex Ultra, and I think you know that I didn't have le coup de foudre. I didn't have I didn't fall in love with Apex Ultra in the end. I quite like the 129.15, but can't find that anymore. And I just bought some 2569, I think, and that one I think it's good. I worked only once with it, but it was good welding, good grinding, much better than Apex in my way. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you. All right, let's continue. Okay, so maybe a little bit more diagonal now on the bevel, just a little bit. Okay, I need to work the stone a little bit. when it stopped cutting the stone, when it stopped cutting, just take another similar stone and rub, and it's opening the stone again. Salut Hugues, et avec plaisir pour le live. What about classic Japanese steel? Well, I would be happy to work that sort of steel, maybe a little bit more, but they are difficult to find. And when you can find them in Europe, they are very expensive. As I have a lot of 135 CR3 and I had it at a good price, it's difficult for me to pay a big bill to have a steel which is maybe on the composition maybe a bit cleaner than 135, but practically to make knives, it's honestly close. And from the feedback of my customers, it feels 135 is totally in line with Shirogami, for example. Hello, Kenantawa Kna. Can you comment on what steel, Can you comment on what makes a steel easy or hard to work with? Sorry, I don't know much about forging. Yes, very well. For me, it's very easy. It's very easy. An easy steel is a steel that will include in your process of forging, grinding, quenching, polishing, straightening, sharpening, maintaining, all those little process you will do on the steel, and it's including in the way you have, the way you're making the knife, the process, it will include easily. It will work easily. So, for example, 135. I'm preparing it with a very rough grinder, which is in my hand, and it's white. I take some raw iron, which is forged flat, similar thickness as the steel. I will, with the same very rough grinding machine, I will put them together, just a dot of welding with a welding machine, welding torch, put it in petrol, put it in my charcoal fire, which is, it's a nice way to heat metal, but charcoal fire is not even, is not controlled, so you can have a little bit more oxidation than with gas forge, I think. And with that way of heating the metal to weld, it's working nice and easy. They never had any issue with welding 135 CR3. It's just always welding. And I can then weld at low temperature, like 950, 1000 degrees, okay? Under 1000 degrees, and this is working, and this is great. This is 200 grit, 200, grain 200. So yeah, for welding, it's working very great. Then quenching. For quenching, it needs 780 degrees for about 5-6 minutes in the oven to get even in temperature. And then I can quench it in water and not oil. And for that, it brings hot steel, the water quenching, and it's giving a clean blade in the end without burned petrol oil, synthetic oil on the blade that have burned on my blade and that will be in my kurushi. Well, for me it's a big thing, and so that's very good to be able to quench in water, so it's all clean. And then what? And then for grinding, 135 is still sliding on a diamond stone, but it's still grinded by the stone. With a very high alloyed metal, it's a little bit harder because it's just resist to grinding. It's made for that. And so while you want to thin the edge, you will spend maybe 3 times more time to just do the same work as a 135. And I'm not Simon, but I'm Milan. Yeah, polishing life is back, Krishboom. I'm very happy to be back. A lot of people today, so super great, very motivating. Try to read the little... Yeah. Okay, so hope I have answered a little bit about hard and easy steel. It's just that for us, let's say traditional blacksmith knife maker, and the insistence is about traditional, making you forge with a power hammer, you forge with a charcoal fire, you grind with big wheels and stones. Well, it's diamond stones, but still a traditional because it's not grinding like a machine. The way you work, okay, traditionally, well, working with a less alloyed steel, so just iron and carbon, it's just easier to work. And so it's working very well with me because it's the way I'm working, and so it's, yeah, just fitting my method and my process. And that doesn't mean high alloyed steel is not possible to work with the traditional way, but it's just taking a lot of time. And then you ask yourself, for what is it for? Or is all the time and effort worth it? For the final user, I think yes, it may, because the high alloy steel, they have a lot of things in it, vanadium, chromium, tungsten, that will hold the edge a little bit longer, well, quite a bit longer. And so you will give less sharpening session in your life. You will have less sharpening session in your life. And you will just have a blade that is sharp for more time. So for the final user, it may be a little bit better, but still, is it worth all the trouble the maker is having in his workshop for something which is, yes, a little bit better, but still, as the 135 CO3 is holding an edge pretty cool, pretty well, yeah, is it with the Apex Ultra, for example, or any tungsten steel, is it enough more to give all those troubles in the making for the maker? And as I'm making blades in a certain way, I really feel tungsten steel is a little bit fighting my process. Instead, 135 is just matching my process. So yeah, just prefer, just a matter of preference, because it's just matching. Okay, which should go on the other side. I'm quite slow because I'm just talking too much and looking at the blade more than grinding, but it's going somewhere. En français, possible que tu bosses ou fasses un jour des aciers artisanaux woods creusés. So the question in French was, is it possible that one day you will work traditional handmade steel like woods, something like that, or bloom steel. It may be. It's one of the plan I have in mind, and I might start in 1 month a little bit of work around that idea of bloom steel, for example, not woods, but bloom steel at the first time, and I will see where I can go. But some friends are doing this process right now for maybe 2 years or 3 years, and they're having so much trouble, and they are spending so much time on it, and I can see they're having a lot of pleasure to discover all this world, but they are also spending a lot of time and energy in it. And so I'm a kind of frightened about it. Like I don't want to go there and spend too much crazy time about it. Maybe I'm not passionate enough about it to spend all that energy and time. That's possible. I'm curious about it, but I go slowly on it. Yeah, I don't want to go too fast on it. Okay, let's do the other side. And en français, il se peut que je travaille un petit peu du bas fourneau, mais pas du woods pour le moment, pas du woods, mais peut-être du bas fourneau, et je vais peut-être démarrer d'ici 1 mois une petite tentative, mais c'est sans velléité de réussir direct et tout ça. Je sais que ça va être compliqué, ça va être long. Peut-être j'aurai de la chance, mais il y a de grandes chances que j'ai pas de chance et que ça marche pas super bien, ou que l'acier soit pas assez carboné, ou que ça se travaille pas bien. Donc bon voilà, j'y vais tranquille, mais j'y vais pas en mode il faut absolument que ça marche. J'y vais plutôt en mode curiosité, et puis si ça marche pas, je continuerai ma production normale. Il faut savoir que c'est quand même super rare les forgerons qui travaillent cette matière-là professionnellement et qui ont une production régulière sur cette matière. C'est tellement difficile et tellement hasardeux et ça demande beaucoup de connaissances, de temps et d'énergie, que c'est chaud quoi, de faire ça en tant que professionnel. C'est pour ça que la plupart du temps, c'est des assos ou c'est des gens qui font ça un peu en à côté, quoi. Okay, French speaking is done. I was just saying the same thing. Okay, let's go to the other side. And now I have worked this side. This one looks a little bit too low on the shinogi, all right? This is higher, this is a little bit lower. So I need to push a little bit the shinogi. And we're gonna try first making the edge even and straight. And then we're gonna raise shinogi, and while raising shinogi, making everything even and nice. Again, if you have any question about all that, you ask the question and I answer. Okay. So changing hands and working. Whoa, sorry. You've seen my making of now. I just wanted to move a little bit the camera. Okay. You're good. Okay, so just working around the edge and see if it's if it's the shape I want, if it's touching properly, and my stone is flat. I'm keeping one angle, okay, around, and so if the bevel around the edge is going high and up and high and up, high and down, high and down, high and down, it's basically not even. And if it's having this a little bit thicker around the heel and a little bit going thinner and thinner toward the tip, it means it's even and good thickness at the edge. It's not perfect. It's about the same as the other side, a little bit too thin here and I would say maybe a little bit too thin at the tip. So I will need to be a bit careful not to overgrind a bit the tip. Or what I don't want is having an angle which making the start of the curve of the tip, but then a little bit too flat on the surface of the tip, which is very easy to make while you grind your knife or shape your knife, just because because it's thin, you don't grind the tip enough, and so you flatten the area just before the tip. Yes, I need to change the camera, but I will. So Hugues is asking for looking at the blade at a closer distance. So let's do that. Let's do that if I can. God damn, I've touched something, so it's not possible anymore. Sorry, I've touched something. Okay, no, it's back again. Okay. So we've done this side. This was the first side. So at the heel, there is still maybe something to do, but it's okay. It starts to rust. It's okay, yeah. But with the rough stone, the blade is always rusting a little bit faster. So this is what I've done. This is not clean enough, this shinogi, but I will do it with the 400 because it's steep. It's too dangerous. Okay, and everything else is quite all right. And so this bevel now, this side, I need to work at the edge a little bit better, but shinogi is nice. Here there is maybe a little bit of low spot to deal, and tip is nice. Okay, so you see everything. Whoopla. Okay, so back at it. Okay, thank you, Paul. Have a good day. Okay, so let's work. Like often, it's raw iron. Well, you know, it's only things you call it. Let's say it's old iron first. It's maybe not raw iron in the way that raw iron might speak for puddle iron, puddling, the way you make iron in the old way, like end of 19th century, where you wanted to decarb cast iron, which was like 4, 5, 6% carbon in it. So you don't want to have that much carbon, you want to lower. And you had people that would introduce oxygen in the mix so it can burn the carbon and lower the carbon content on the metal. And so you have the iron, but doing this process mixing, introducing oxygen manually, you put some oxide in the metal, and then you have this pattern you can see on the raw iron, which are oxides. Okay. Okay, and this one, it's old iron, and I'm not sure it's puddled because there is no oxide, but it's still, there is some layering due to heterogeneity of carbon content. So from here I can see there is some dark and lighter layers like Damascus, whereas it's only one iron at the principle, but there is some layering. So I call it clean raw iron. I don't think it's maybe puddled. It's maybe another way to make iron. it should be from all time. This iron was made, I don't know, maybe at least in the 50s, I would say, something like that, 1950s. Yeah, it's old iron. Okay. Okay, let's work that blade. And we don't have much more time. I'm gonna work with you maybe 15 more minutes, and then I will say goodbye. Okay. And if I have too much burr at the edge, I can always sharpen the blade a little bit quickly. Like I would use a 1K stone and make just a micro bevel 15 degrees, so I can be sure everything is aligned and clean. And it's sharpened. One of the questions in French is comment tu fais pour contrôler un angle constant? So yes, it's practice. So yeah, first in English. Sorry, it's how do you keep your angle consistent? It's mostly practice. It's because I'm doing that mostly every days. That I can keep my angles, but still I have some how you say that, little tips. So one of the tips is the way you hold the blade in your hand, and this will help you to be steady. And so I don't know if you've seen that, but I got my thumb, it's the way I hold the knife. I have my thumb always at the heel, close to the bevel, and my index on the spine, and I'm pushing with the other fingers in my palm, and this is grabbing the blade very strongly and very precisely, and so I can be very precise with it. And the more you push, the more you are very precise, and I can really choose angle perfectly with my hand, because we have a very clever hand. And so then I will work with the blade on the stone, and with my other hand I will also be very precise, putting the fingers where I want to work. So for example, if I want to work the edge, I will rise up, then I will push with my finger in my palm, so I get very steady. So it's up, it's steady and very strong here, and then I will put my finger at the edge where I want to work, and then I only allow me to move my knees. So I will work like that. And so I will be very consistent, because only my knees are moving and very, very less my hands. Yes. So en français, voilà. Je mets mon index comme ça, je mets mon pouce ici, je pousse avec mes derniers doigts dans ma paume pour que le couteau soit forcé de rester dans la main. Et avec ça, je suis très précis. Et ensuite, avec mon autre main, j'appuie là où je veux travailler. Et donc, si je veux travailler le fil du couteau, je vais lever l'angle, je pousse bien avec mes autres doigts vers ma paume pour que la lame soit tenue fermement, et ensuite je pose mes doigts là où je veux travailler, et c'est parti. Ok, let's move. So Krishbon say, I find this grab the most steady, but also I have to be very conscious to not push too much with the thumb and only push with the other hand. Yes. In any way, this right hand, when you're holding with the right hand, is made to hold the blade and set it on the stone firmly if you need. But it's true that it's really the left hand that gives the pressure where you want. And sometimes, well, most of the time, it's just actually better to put some pressure somewhere. Forget about the right hand. Just grab your knife nicely and not giving any direction, any bending, any level up or down, just where it is. And you're grinding just where the bevel is sitting on the stone, nothing more. And this technique, to not control or less control, just set the blade on the stone and just, we say accompagner, so it would be, in English, just follow the blade on the stone and not giving too much control to it. It's just a good way to work. Yes, I have spent a lot of time doing only one bevel, so I guess you feel that I'm spending all my days on stones, but hopefully not. Hopefully I'm going a little bit quicker when I'm not in live and speaking. But it's still long because I'm taking time to make it the way I want, and I want to be really, really close to perfect, if possible. But I would say on an average knife, which is different than from a Damascus Marbre Noir, where I try to put a little bit more time on it because I want the technique to follow also the attention, something like that. So simple knife, a little bit lower attention, and more complex knives, a little bit more attention. But let's say a Sanmai with raw iron and steel, I still want it to be pretty good, pretty perfect. I would spend less than a day, but still about 6 hours, I would say. Yes, and sometimes it's more like close to 4.5, let's say. And sometimes it's more 7 because it was too difficult, or I was doing a mess, I was not concentrated enough. But I would say, yeah, maybe 5-6 hours is an average, a good average. I'm spending quite a lot of time. I guess sometimes much more than some of their makers. We are all different, just because first we don't work the same way, and second we don't look exactly for the same results. So some people would say, well, no, I need I don't know, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours to make a knife, to make the polishing on the stone of a knife. And some other people would say, oh, I need 1 day or maybe 2 days to polish properly a knife. And they are not wrong. It's just the level of finish and quality and attention to every details you put on the bevel. For me, with 6 hours on this sort of Sanmai raw iron 135, it feels a good balance between attention and time spent on the blade. Okay, I need to refresh. So you can refresh with a 6 stone. I think in SK they sell, well, not an SK directly, but Common Japan is a shop in Japan where you can buy the NSK stones, and they sell those 6 stones. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to raise Shinogi without scratching it too much. Hi, hi. So yeah, just being careful to grind steadily. Steadily. Okay, so I'm just doing one pass. From heel to tip. Okay, and it looks good. It looks better than the other side. So I'm actually better grinding left side on the belt than on the right side. Yeah, it depends the blade, it depends so many parameters. Okay, but I really need to raise Shinogi to make it symmetrical. Hello, Chef Apex. Question is, hello, which stone you prefer to finish the sharpening for carbon steel and the powered steel knives? I don't sharpen powered steel knife, so I can't advise on that. I guess you should use some diamond stones, and I don't know what best diamond stones is there to sharpen them, so I will stay to carbon steel knives, and my answer will be also, well, funny maybe. Carbon steel knives they are so easy to sharpen that almost any stone can make a nice work to make your edge. Not for polishing. If you need to grind a lot of surface and area like I do, you need quite some good stone. But just to make the edge, almost every stone can do the work. And me personally, I quite like a Naniwa Shosera stone to make the edge, and I use 1K if I want quite a rough edge, well, average nice edge, let's say, and I'm using a lot the 3K Naniwa Shosera, and I'm finishing my knives I'm selling with the Naniwa Shosera 3K, followed by a Coticule, which is a natural stone, because I'm a natural stone guy, which I like because I like them and I want to promote them a bit. I like to finish the knife on the natural stones. Oh, I mean any specific natural stone. So yeah, for carbon steel knife, personally I use Coticule, yellow Coticule, which are depending, but you can find some of them which are 3000 grit around, and those are quite good for, yeah, quite good for carbon steel knives. Okay, let's move that shinogi. Okay, so it's time to go for me. But as you can see, I'm already rising Shinogi quite a bit. In a way, I like it to be even from both sides. And this one is going quite up at heel, and I will never go as high the other side. I think it's 15 millimeter high of the bevel, height of the bevel at heel. And this one is 12. And maybe should be good if I can reach 13. Yeah, 13. A good 13 would be nice and would make the blade even. And I will do that on other blades. So, merci Hugues. I'm gonna stop the live now because I want to do something else. I'm really happy to start again those lives. I hope you like them. I quite enjoy to explain my work, show the way I work, show my method, show the way I will grind the bevels. I have a certain way to do it. It's not the fast way. It's quite the slow way. There is slower than me, but it's still quite the slow way. And I hope you can enjoy and learn about that. It's really about making the blade as clean and even as possible. And so if it's very clean, you can go quite thin above the edge. Because it's even, it won't make the edge behave weirdly because it's so thin and uneven. It's very even and aligned. So it's working, cutting and getting easy maintenance at the same time. So it's working very well. So yeah, enjoyed having some time with you. I will keep on doing that. So sorry you won't see maybe the 400 grit on that knife, but if I have time on Friday, I will make another live video so you can see maybe not the finish, but at least progress on the blade. So yeah, I will try. I'm just reading a little bit the comments. Happy to see you. Okay. Thanks for taking time to explain. Yeah, my pleasure to show you all that. And we're gonna make some more live video during this year. And it was so nice to see you again. Okay, bye-bye and have a good evening or good day. Goodbye.